me some of his time to do this interview with him. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's my pleasure. It is what you're doing is amazing. Raising money, doing the Twitch thing, doing the streaming thing. It's amazing, mate. You should be proud of yourself. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So I've got some questions that I prepared the last few days. I'm just going to go through and ask you some of the stuff people might not know about you. They might just know you from Cultaholic, but I know you from past then in radio and stuff. And
do I owe you money?
Obviously. No.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I always get worried when people say, I know your past. Are you chasing me for money? That's fine then. That's fine.
So for those who don't know, by the time this goes out, I'll have started in college doing, depending on my results, either a focused radio and audio course or just a creative media course. So we really don't know at the moment, but sort of that started, I don't think I've told you this.
No, you haven't.
When I first appeared on your show, Love You Bye, which I'm going to ask you about later, about how the response I got from that, from just random people, was just so nice and changed sort of my confidence to this sort of thing. Because I wanted to be a chef, did a few trial things, realised it wasn't really my thing, and thought, well, let's give this a go. And then I had a few people message me saying, why don't you try and do radio? And then secretly, my mum knew me too well and knew that maybe it wasn't the perfect thing for me. Did some research, found this course, and we're here now. So obviously, as some people will know, some people won't know, you do radio, don't you?
I do, yeah. So before I joined Cultaholic, I think a few people think I just sort of burst into existence in 2019. Like I just appeared out of a lamp like Anne Genie. No, I've been doing radio majority of my life. Like radio was always my first passion. The first thing I was in love with more than anything else was radio. And I started in 2000 doing community radio, sort of volunteer radio. That was where I cut my teeth there back home in the West Midlands. And radio was very different then to it is now. And through sending demos and stuff, I was able to get on and as a travel reader, eventually doing stuff in newsrooms. But my dream was always to present, to be a radio presenter, to be one of those guys. And the first job I had, where I was working in a newsroom.
I am listening. I was going to make sure.
No, you do. You do.
Yeah, you. I'm all right.
Josh has left. Rude. I joke, of course. I joke. The first radio job I had, it was working in a newsroom, but I was desperate to be on the radio. So every time I had free time, I would go into the production studio and I'd learn how to work the desk. I'd make demos for my boss at the time. And I'd send him them every other day. I'd send him something, and I'll never forget. It was in 2008. By this point, he burst into the studio one day, and he said, "Look, if I give you a radio show, if I give you a shift on air, will you stop sending me emails?" I said, "Yes, I will." Right, Bank Holiday Monday, you're on. Thanks very much. So I did. So I did Bank Holiday Monday. I did 6 a.m. till midday. It was a slog of a shift. And it went well because after the shift, my boss said, that was actually very good. Some things to improve on, but I've got some more dates for you. And it kind of went from there, worked around a small radio group in the West Midlands. I ended up getting offered a job to work for Heart, which was really exciting. Like if people are watching Josh's stream from all around the world, Heart is a national radio brand here in the UK. I got a chance
one of the biggest, I would say.
I think, yeah, that and Capital outside of BBC Radio 1. Yeah. BBC Radio 2 as well. They're probably the biggest ones, but I got the chance to spend 6 years working for Heart in the northeast. So I moved up to Newcastle to
see. That's where I recognise your voice.
Ah, okay.
Pick out there, and I vaguely remember you from Heart. And I also remember you you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, when you did a few things on Signal One. I vaguely remember that. I don't know why. I just distinctly remember.
I did. So Signal One was like the mothership of the small group of stations I used to work for. And on the odd occasion, when they were really stuck, I'd get called to the mothership. And it was nice to go and do it. It meant like a night in Stoke. There were friends I had in Stoke. duck that I'd get to hang out with when I went. I remember they booked me to do New Year's Eve into New Year's Day from like 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. And then they said, oh, can you do the breakfast show on Signal 1 the next day? So I did 10 p.m. till 1 a.m. at Signal 1. I then slept on the sofa in like the there's like a little they call it the total access room, where there's the total access show. They do live lounge and stuff like that. And I had a couple of hours sleep on the sofa in the live lounge. And then I went back on air 6 till 10. Just these are things that you do, Josh. When at least, as I say, the industry's changed a lot now. But you just do these things to make them happen. You get offered a gig and go, yeah, sure, I'll make that. I'm still a bit like that to this day because I'm, to go back to where I was. I've left Heart now. They made some changes across the company that meant that my services were no longer required. All good. It's one of those things. No ill will there. I had a lovely time, and as soon as I found out my fate was sealed at Heart, I was like, I'd quite like to stay up here. I've got, a little bit of stuff at Cultaholic I'd like to keep ticking over. I was just doing a podcast for them at that point. And I messaged one of the bosses at BBC Radio Newcastle. My partner was working there at the time. So I had an in and I just sent a message saying, is there any chance we can meet up for a coffee? This ended up me doing what I do now. So now I do freelance cover for Radio Newcastle. So whenever they're stuck for presenters, they give me a call. Time of recording, I'm down to do another week on the evening show. And at 37 years old, I should probably start slowing down.
You're 37?
37 years old, sir.
What?
It's a good paper round, wasn't it?
I thought you were like 28 or something.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I'm not even saying that.
Bless you. No, I'm tickling my 40s, mate. I'm the elder statesman of Cultaholic. They're all young'uns compared to me here.
Even Adam, I thought. No, Adam was older.
I'm older than Pachiti. I'm older than Adam. But age is a mindset, man. It's what it is. You're only as old as you feel. And it's very flattering, Josh, that you say I look like 28 because I still feel like I'm in my mid-20s. I don't feel like I've aged that much in the last 20 years. I don't feel like I've aged. And I should be slowing down a little bit as I'm 37, but I'm getting up at like 5 a.m. to do stuff for Cultaholic, and I'm going straight from here to Radio Newcastle. I'll be there till 10 o'clock tonight. I'll do that again tomorrow, and then the next day, and the next day, and the next day. I'll get told off by my partner for going too hard and not being home enough, and I'll get told off by Pablo for long time spent on his Todd. He'll get over it. He's fine. But so the long answer to your first question, radio's always been my greatest passion, and I'm so happy that I'm doing stuff at Cultaholic. But I'm also very happy that I still get to keep my toe in and do stuff for the BBC as well. Like, what's that about?
I know.
How did that happen? What's going on?
I mean, I'll often see you tweet
that much.
Oh, I'm not listening to anything. I'll put you on and just have you on in the background.
Bless you, mate.
So
that's one person. That's one person.
I've got another. The last question on radio, because you've answered in the answer all the other questions I had, which is great. I've got one question about just quite similar to other ones. If you could interview one artist, who would it be?
An artist from you. Oh, it's a very good question. It's weird because I've always done music radio. Like, I love music, but I know people that are more passionate about music than I am. I have a Spotify playlist of all sorts of random stuff. I'm trying to think who I would say. I tell you who I'd like to speak to, and it's probably one that won't happen because I don't think BBC Radio Newcastle would have him on as a guest. I'd love to speak to David Drayman, who is the frontman of Disturbed. When I was in college, I was very into my rock and into my metal music, and I love Dave Drayman's voice. He's got this incredible tone to it. He recently became a bit of a mainstream star when Disturbed covered The Sound of Silence, the Simon & Garfunkel song, and to the point where my dad is messaging me saying, "Hey, this band are good." I'm like, "Dad, I was listening to that band in college and you were telling me they were rubbish." So I'd love to chat to Dave Drayman. I think from what I gather, his story is really interesting. So I think, I'm going to say Dave Drayman from Disturbed. I think he's one of the more a lot of pop stars. I'll let you behind the curtain, Josh. A lot of pop stars I've interviewed. They vary from being very interesting to not being very interesting.
Who was, do you think, your favourite interview you've done?
In music or just like in general?
In music, yeah, in music.
In music. I interviewed Ellie Goulding years ago.
That would have been a good one.
Just not long after, not long before her second album came out. She came into the studios in Wolverhampton, so I got to interview Ellie Goulding.
Was that 26?
Oh, before then, mate. We're talking 2013, I think it was, for Ellie Goulding. She hadn't like she'd had Starry Eyed had come out at that point. Her second album was due out soon. So very early into her time, I got to chat to Ellie Goulding. She was cool. I liked Ellie Goulding a lot. Who else have I spoke to that I thought was really cool? Who else did it's been a few that have been just fine, all right interviews, but I think Ellie Goulding. I'm going to say Ellie Goulding was probably my favorite.
Yeah, but I think that's a pretty mainstream.
We had a good bit of banter. We clicked quite well to Ellie Goulding. That was quite nice. Oh, Charlotte Church. I like Charlotte. I interviewed Charlotte Church because she's roughly the same age as me, and sort of the crazy chick era of Charlotte Church. I got a little bit of a thing for. So when she turned up in Wolverhampton to do a show, I managed to get on the press list for that, and it gave me an excuse to interview her for the radio. So she was cool. I remember it was after the gig, and it was me and Charlotte Church, and there was a bottle of wine. And we had a couple of glasses of wine. And we had a chat. It was great. It was a lovely time. She was very, very cool. She's a cool egg, But I was using my powers for evil because I was like, I quite like her. I like her as a singer, and I quite fancy her. So any chance I can get on the press list to interview her for the radio, and it was legitimately for the radio. It wasn't just a bluff.
Yeah.
We did play the interview the next day, and got really nice reaction because it was just a nice casual conversation. But she's really cool. She was really good fun. I liked her as well. So Ellie Goulding and Charlotte Church. I'll put them in there. What a random selection.
So,
and Dave Draymond. What? See, my Spotify playlist is a mess, Josh. Like this, it's just. When you get to my age, you realise that you can't really hang your hat on a certain genre because just like what you like. Life's too short.
My friends always are like, you listen to music from like styles from that their dads listen to.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Sam Fender?
Oh yeah, we know Sam. He's from round here, isn't he? He's from our neck of the woods. Sam Fender. He's got a nice older sound to him. I like it.
Yeah. Me and my auntie's favourite artist. We were meant to see him last year, but we're seeing him in a few months, and I'm going to get on to something that's happening at the end of that in another question later, because that week's going to be incredible for me. So I want to move on to when you started at Cultaholic. Sky Sports have just, oh no, what have I done there?
Josh, you've changed. You've got glasses on all of a sudden.
Yeah. There we go. Sky Sports just popped up and I was like,
is it a bet?
So, no, apparently someone's left Aston Villa.
Oh no, that's one more. It's one more gone from the Villa.
So
no, Lord, the Villa, we're all from. We don't offend the Villa. Sorry, Karen. Down Lord, the Villa.
So how did that start? Was it sort of, because I know you started doing the podcast, and then I remember just as you started, I started getting into it, and then I remember my first real, because the first pay-per-view I watched, I think, was Mania, the 34 or 35. I think the proper one I first remember was 35.
Okay.
And you started in 2019, didn't you?
Well,
2018.
It was, well, technically, I think it was 2018 I started. But not a lot of people know that. So I knew of the lads from the other place because I was a fan of the other place. So I'd watch a lot of their videos. In the morning, I'd have free before I went to work. I'd watch a lot of what they were doing. So I knew of them, but I was also doing stuff in the wrestling scene around here as well. I was working as a commentator.
That's another question later that maybe not many people know.
Well, Well, that was how, without spoiling all of that too much, basically Adam and Jack came along to a couple of the wrestling shows that I was announcing at, and we got chatting during the interval, and it kind of led to Adam sort of saying, look, we might be, expanded, because by this point Cultaholic had formed, and he said, look, we might be looking to do more in the future with it. We'd like to keep you in the loop. I was like, yeah, it'd be great. And didn't really think any more of it. And then out of the blue, he sent me a message saying our writer in America would like to start a podcast based on old episodes of Monday Night Raw. We originally thought him and Matthew, but Matthew's very busy. So would you be up for having a chat with him, maybe doing a pilot and seeing how it sounds? So we did. And this was, of course, Justin Henry from Off of America. So I had a chat with Justin over the phone, and bless Justin, he is like, I can't emphasize enough. Justin Henry is the reason probably why I'm here, because Justin we had this chat over the phone, and Justin went to Adam and said, yeah, get him. So
I think the thing is with you, with all this stuff is, I think the way you all work together, even though I don't know any of you, and this is a lot of the stuff when you see stuff online, it seems that everyone's very different, but you all gel so well together. And it seems like whatever combination you're together in, it just works. I don't think there's ever been a video where I've watched it and thought, this is really awkward.
Well, that's the talent of all the lads. It's knowing like who, to play to the strengths of whoever's there. Who leads the news videos, who follows the news videos, like who leads what stories, and that just comes from working well with each other. Like, off the top of my head, I know for a fact that if there's New Japan news and I'm on with Sam, that's the best combination, because Sam is just an encyclopedia of New Japan. I know enough to get me by. I should know more, but Sam Driver is a walking almanac of New Japan. So I can go, New Japan news, Sam, and Sam can just lead that, and we switch places briefly, and then revert back. And everybody's got different. I know for a fact if I'm in with different people, then I know sort of what their strengths are, in the sense that like Ross will know what strengths are with other people, and it's a testament to how well as a team they all, because it's Adam, it's Jack, it's Ross, and it's Sam as the original presenting side of things. They're like the OGs. They were connected from the very beginning, and they've been able to welcome new people in and make it seem seamless. So lots of love and lots. Because
I wouldn't think now that if I went back and if I didn't know and I stumbled across video, I wouldn't think like you, Matthew, Owen, I'm forgetting anyone else recently.
Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. How can I forget Andrew? The man Dingle. You slapped with a pork chop. That's what his thing will ever be. Tom Campbell slapped him with a pork chop. That video was just great. But I think the way you all mesh into one you wouldn't know that you necessarily weren't part of the thing that happened before. And
that's a great compliment. That's a great compliment that we've been able to come in and just and make it as seamless as possible. It's a very and I think compliment.
From a fan point of view, because of the other people, there is a contrast. There is constant content coming out that just fills up days and days and days of in lockdown when we didn't have much to do. You guys continued, and Adam with the lives seemingly every day. You with the Fridays and the podcasts and things, and everything just seemed to always sort of to put something out, I can watch that.
Well, I think it's that the last 18 months have been a testament to this team here, because I love the fact that you have watched that and gone, oh, there's just always been stuff there. There's news, there's always Twitch, because that feeling that, it's just effortlessly, it's always there. That's a testament to all of us who've been split across the country in some places working together. You know how a duck goes across a pond and it looks very smooth, but underneath the legs are doing this. That's been us for 18 months, where we've all been working remotely and sort of rolling with the punches of stuff that works and stuff that doesn't. It's been tough. We know people have had it tougher, so we ain't going to complain. We've all kept working. We've all, I genuinely don't know where I would be had I not had Cultaholic, to do during lockdown, I don't know where
Yeah.
I would be, because it has really given me something to focus on. It's given me something to throw myself into. I think we've made some amazing content during that time. I know it feels amazing to be back. This is the beginning with Josh and I are chatting at the beginning of our second week back in the office. There's still people coming back. We're doing like a staggered return. So like every day, one new person comes back. We're doing it slowly and slowly. But God, it just, the energy is amazing. Everyone's just so happy to be back together after a really uncertain year and a half or whatever it's been. But the fact that you're able to say, it's great to always click on, there's always a podcast, there's always a Twitch stream, there's always a YouTube, and it seems so effortless. That's the greatest compliments come from places like that. The greatest, it sounds like a weird thing to say, Josh, but the greatest compliment I've ever received, and I've had it quite a few times, is people saying, I could do your job. That's the greatest compliment I've ever been paid. Somebody go, I could do what you do. Brilliant. Because I obviously make it look dead easy. I'm so happy that you say that. So thank you. It sounds like an insult. It's actually an amazing compliment. Like I could do what you do. Brilliant. I would love to see you keep this pace as a broken down 37-year-old man.
Everyone thinks, all they do is sit there and read a script about news.
Brilliant.
But actually, even though I think anyone sat there thinks, but I think it's all about the chemistry. It's all about the way you deliver it. It's all about everything like that is what makes the people in your position and people like you and you very good at it. And the way it feels like I've turned on BBC News, but it's just Cultaholic sign instead of BBC News. Like, that's how it feels sometimes.
Well, that's very kind. Thank you. So
I've got a few more questions. I'm going to try and speed because I don't want to keep you for hours.
You're all good. You're all good.
So my next question is, what was the favourite video you've been in at Cultaholic? Either like produced or whatever, or actually been in?
Favourite video? There's a really lovely video with all of us in, it's a real simple video. It's predictions for, I think, Crown Jewel 2019. And it's sort of the last time that all of us are on camera at the same time doing something. And it's just...
Did you know at that point it would be?
I had no idea. Oh, this was like the before times. We had no idea this was going to be the case. But it was just, we all needed to do a predictions thing. We all piled into the recording area. And it's just chaos. It's just chaos. There's one point where we're all jumping on Adam's shoulders trying to make predictions. It's just ridiculous. We hadn't thought it through, and a lot of people go, "This is my favorite video," because it's just all the lads together having a lovely time. So that was I like that. It's a real simple one. I really like that one. So that's in there. The Cake Escape video has a little bit.
I watched that a couple of weeks ago. I just sort of was going through. I got down the loophole with you guys reacting to the 12 Days of Punishment thing, and then it popped up and I thought, I remember watching this live and thinking this will be amazing, but then thinking, oh wait, he's got to eat cake for however many hours. And then I remember I laughed so much when the straw broke and you were just there like, oh, it was just...
That was like my first live stream punishment thing, and I've always said, like, I'm up for stuff, bring it on. Mind you, Adam Pacitti doing Held in a Smell just the other week.
That was, I found it difficult to watch at times. It was funny, and some of the clips that came out of it, they're brilliant.
The man is a meme machine. He truly is.
I think he is so underrated in all the things he does. Like, he is just, I don't think he gets enough credit for the amount, because obviously I don't know, and you'll know better than me, obviously, you work with him every day, but it seems like although he's taken a step back from being on screen, he seems to be doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes.
Well, he's the boss. He's the man at the top of the tree at this place. He signs all our paychecks. He does all the boring admin stuff. So the reason he's had to step back and do less stuff on screen is because he's just run off his feet with other stuff. And it's a product of the success that we've had, that Adam is at a point now where he's so busy trying to run this big business that he hasn't got time to do stuff on screen, and it's because we've done so well in such a short amount of time. I know he misses it, and I know any chance he gets to do it, he will. But
apart from when he sat in beans for a day.
Yeah, I mean, there is that as well. He said to me since that it was the roughest punishment he's ever done.
When I did my 24-hour thing, that was bad.
You were sat in a paddling pool full of gravy, though.
I know. I felt ill after it, and I had to recover for a few days. And then I thought, I did that and struggled, but I didn't do that and get covered in pickled onion, beans, and whatever else you can find. I wish there was a recording of you guys going to get all that stuff. Having to explain what
it wouldn't have been as interesting as you think it would. It would have literally just been us ordering stuff on Amazon and it arriving. It wouldn't have been as interesting as you think it is. But the result was interesting. But with mine, so like Adam's the king of all the live streams and stuff. So for me to do like that was my first solo live video, was that cake escape one. And because they were watching it upstairs, but they were watching it on a delay. So, and I only realized this when near the end, I'm trying to get a drink of water and I end up knocking the water bottle over and it just goes everywhere, just covers the floor. And I'm sort of on my knees trying to scoop up some water into my mouth. And then 5 seconds later, there's just this roar of laughter from upstairs. I went, oh, they're watching. Right, okay.
Let's just watch my best mate suffer while eating cake.
Basically, they should have been getting some work done, I still think, but it is what it is. But that one's precious to me. But I think, to be honest with you, the stuff I'm proudest of here isn't the videos, it's the podcast output. When I joined, I remember my meeting with Adam and he was great, and he was just like sort of talk about like, what do you want to do here? And he said, like, he said to me, I want to do more stuff with podcast and audio. And I said, look, if you give me Adobe Audition, I'll give you the world. And that's what we did. So I set my schedule, so I start early. That's how I work best. Some people aren't morning people. I am a morning person, and I'll be up like 6 o'clock in the morning prepping news, and I'll prep the news for the podcast, and I'll prep the news for the day then. And then the daily news podcasts have gone down incredibly well. I'm really happy with them.
Yeah.
They could always be more, but it's nice the result they do.
Especially this week.
Yeah, especially with everything going on. I mean,
for people that don't know, the week last week was, you'll probably know by now if this has happened. Was the Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Matt Cardona, Nick Gage, all that stuff.
It's all been going
every
on,
day.
right?
It was. Oh, and The Rock as well. I still think that was Vince going, what? Rock.
Oh yeah,
getting Rock.
You and I have a hive mind. That's like the we have a Hulk line from the Avengers. We have The Rock. But all that sort of podcast stuff is something I'm really proud of. The classic Raw review that we do with Justin, the classic SmackDown review that I'm now doing with Matthew, which is just a laugh a minute for us. The radio documentaries I make about like weird and wonderful stuff from the history of wrestling, and Desert Island Graps, which is a rip-off of Desert Island Discs with a wrestling slant to it.
It's so good.
By the time
honestly.
This goes out, we'll have surpassed 100 episodes of Desert Island Graps. By the time this goes out, we've got a few.
You know? I don't know if you can tell me this. Do you know who you want to be your 100th?
Oh, it's actually as well, chances are. We've already set a date to record it. We've set a date to record it, and I don't want to reveal it. You'll find out in time. But it's all in the book. And I'll snub out this little flame immediately. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's not me. A lot of people say, "When are you doing yours?" And I have no intentions at the moment of doing one. A lot of people ask, "Oh, why don't you get somebody to interview you?" And that may happen in time, but. Yeah, that's not for a while yet. There's far more interesting people that I want to get to, and the guests that we've got coming up beyond episode 100, I'm super excited about.
I mean, that's my sort of thing. I'm seeing how difficult it is. I don't know how easy this is for you, or is it as difficult? I imagine you've got contacts of just trying to get people that people have heard of. And if I advertise, I've done a little poster here. It's in black and white, but this is just a demo. It's got your face on it there.
Oh, lovely.
But I'm finding it difficult to get, like, I've reached out to, obviously I've tried to stay away from WWE because I know they've got all this third party.
Yeah.
And I've just sort of gone for independent people in the UK that people have heard of, and a few that, if something comes of it, and it'll do amazing. But I mean, there's a couple that I am hopeful outside of wrestling I can get, but in my this is another question I was going to ask you. I might as well do it now. What's your dream interview that you haven't done, wrestling wise?
My dream interview, gosh.
Well, top three. We'll do top three.
Okay.
Make it a bit easier for you.
My top three. Okay. I would love to chat with, let me think. Would I chat with them? For me, it's more about finding people that have stories. Like I'm just thinking who I've reached out to who.
I know my three, and they might help.
Well, tell me your three. It might inspire me to think of my three. Tell me your three.
So, my third would be Edge. I am a massive Edge fan. I think the stories he has would be incredible.
Nice.
Second would be Liv Morgan, because I just think she's fascinating.
Cool.
In everything. And I've had some sort of interaction with her through Instagram and stuff. And I think the relationship she has with her fans, really, there's a reason she's got a massive fan base and why she should have won Money in the Bank. Still annoyed about that. But I think by the time this goes out, she'll have won a world title. And I know that's bold, but I honestly think she will have won a world title by then. Or maybe not, it's coming out SummerSlam, isn't it? But I'm predicting her for Royal Rumble already.
Good shout.
And my top one would be, I don't know if you've interviewed him, I think you have, is Cody.
Cody Rhodes?
Yeah.
No, not had the pleasure of Cody Rhodes. He is somebody I should probably reach out to and see what we get from that. That's a good three. I like that. And it's brought me time to think of mine. So,
yeah,
my three, I'd like to chat with Lita, Amy. Or no, actually, I'd like to chat with Lita. I think Lita's got an amazing story that not enough people dip into, and I'd like to chat with Lita some more.
I don't know a lot about her.
No, that's why I want to chat with her.
I think she was very before her time, and I would love to see her have another run, which would never happen. But I would love to see her have another run somewhere.
I'd love to pick the brain of Triple H, as he's a guy that has, again, seen it all, done it all, and has got his mind on how to run the business. I know that one's unlikely. And it's got to be Keith Lee. I've got to speak to Keith Lee. Keith is just a character, just a guy, again, who with lots of stories to tell, and I think audio all the time. And Keith Lee has got such a wonderful, rich voice. I think the podcast would do well on his voice alone.
I'll segue into my next question, as it is about Keith Lee. So as we're recording this, the Monday before Keith Lee made his return to, I popped that loud, because I recorded it and watched it the next day. I popped that loud that I had both my grandparents come in and say, "It sounds like you just got strangled. What? That's not good for your blood pressure." Is their exact words. And I was like, "You don't understand. It's Keith Lee. They didn't forget about Keith."
Amazing.
And that's a thing I bring up often. And I remember that into another question in a minute. When you said that, if I remember correctly, it got played at NXT. And then was it Beth Phoenix that mentioned it on commentary?
She did.
And then I
forgot about that. She did.
I might put back the title, NXT and Cultaholic's own Tom Campbell. Technically,
I'm canon in NXT. That was it. She said, "Don't you forget about Keith Lee, Mara." I was like, "Ah, look at that." Look at that. That's nice. I think because they played it during the break. They played the video of me and Ross singing "Don't You Forget About Keith" on the big screen, and it started doing the rounds. And Disco Inferno said something nasty about it, but that's fine. That's Disco Inferno. I might chat to him actually. I think he'd be worth a chat actually. I think he'd be worth.
I think Beth Phoenix would be a good chat as well.
Yeah.
Not only from
just somebody else that's got a lot of there's a lot of story to be told there. I think so.
I still think she's got another run in her, to be honest. I could definitely see her coming back and doing something in NXT, because I still think she can go.
I think there's something still to offer.
So, next question is going to be, from what you can tell me, what is your favourite off-screen moment you've had since starting Cultaholic?
Favourite off-screen moment? There's been numerous really lovely evenings out with us lot, which have been really nice. I think weirdly, last week being back here felt like quite a nice off-screen moment. I think sort of getting back into the rigors of everything again and seeing everybody again, I think felt like quite a special moment. It's quite a recent one, so whether it counts as a recent one. I think the first time we all went over the road to the pub, like at the end of my first week, and it kind of felt like, yeah, this is cool. I just love how you all do that, though. It sounds so bad that so many of the moments involve alcohol, but they probably do. Actually, one of my favorites is I think off screen. It's the friendship I've rediscovered with Matthew. Because we had I haven't fell out with many people in life, but we had a monumental fallout long before I worked at Cultaholic, which we talked about in his episode of Desert Island Grabs. And we managed to bury the hatchet to the point now where like he is one of my best mates. And just seeing him and doing the show with him, like during the last 18 months, we've done the podcast together every week. We've done it via Zoom. And he has just been like this divine constant in my existence for the last 18 months. So to see him like face to face and sit with him again on a Friday just felt very, very special. So I think like the relationship that we've forged now, I'm really happy about. Like we hang out together a lot outside of work. I think on a couple of occasions during lockdown when time allowed, we were able to dip away and go for a walk, a socially distanced walk and all that, and just shoot the breeze. So that was it. So I think that's another one. I think off screen the friendship rekindled with Matthew.
Yeah. Talking about constants in live during lockdown, I'm going to big you up here because you really deserve it. Love You Bye is one of the best shows I've ever watched. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
The fact that everyone can phone in and just talk about anything is wonderful. And I'm going to tell you the story of me phoning. I remember on that day, can't remember what it was. I was on a really bad day. And I just saw that someone had put, it was just as you started, I think just as you really started to promote the Twitch, I started, like, I joined it once. And then I thought, well, next week I'm going to phone in. A couple of weeks went past, I was having a really bad day again, and I saw that someone put something up. It's like, right. It was after the releases, was the first time I did it. And then I remember I phoned up and got through, and then was talking to you for ages, and then played it back to my mum. And my mum was like in tears, like, these people are so nice. And then she was saying how nice you were. And obviously you've helped me with things like this, and I've messaged you a few times about other things. And last week you helped me with I put a video out and forgot about copyrights and all that.
Oh, the joys of the YouTube algorithm and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I mean, it kind of was my fault. I sort of clipped together the clip of Cena coming back, and I thought, actually, I should have thought that music would have flagged.
But you're learning. But yeah, we're all learning. We're all figuring it out as we go along.
How did that show come about then? Did you go to Adam and go, I want to do a radio show on a Friday, like when I do radio, or was it the fact that there was a free slot on a Friday and you thought,
Well, what you said there is exactly what happened. So we were talking about, it originally started as a Discord thing. So I'd originally suggested, like, I love the idea. I said, Dad, I love the idea of doing a radio show on Discord. Is that something we can do? We did it. It was a thing for the Patreons. And once we started doing more stuff on Twitch, I kind of realized, actually, this could do quite well there, because there's only a handful of people that are doing stuff like that on Twitch. There's Ian Lee, who is a phenomenal broadcaster from the UK, who does a call-in style thing on Twitch. And I think there's probably a few others, but it's certainly Ian Lee is the one I can think of. So I just said, why don't we take this concept over to Twitch and let's just open the phone lines. Let's get a Skype number. Let's just open the phone lines and just let everybody talk. I can handle it. It's all good. And it's just that I'm so happy with the reaction that it got, and the fact that we were able to keep doing it even when we came away from the office. We were able to keep. I think we've done more episodes of Love You by Friday from the isolation station than we have in the office.
I missed last week and I was absolutely gutted.
I missed last week as well, so it's fine. Oh, there's a week before. Sorry. Yeah,
and then it was like I was out in. I think we went out to, was it Lytham, or we went somewhere, and I was like, oh no, it's 4:00. Oh no, missed it. But
it's fine. It's back this week. It's fine. It's going to be more, a more consistent presence on a Friday. But it's wonderful because I've been able to speak to more people from around the world who watch what we do. Like every day we get calls from every corner of the world. I think we had during lockdown, I remember we had at least one caller from Indonesia. I had a caller in from Japan. I've had callers from Australia, from America, from Canada, from all over Europe. It shows how far this silly nonsense that we do truly travels, and how much people are up for having a chat as well. I think it's quite intimidating. I'm very aware for me it's different, because for me I'll just open up my mic and I'll say whatever. It doesn't bother me. But I've learned to go, actually, that is quite intimidating for somebody who may not have done stuff like that before. So I'm always
it was terrifying for me when I did it.
Yeah, and I get it, because I always try and make people feel at ease very quickly and just go, look, you're just talking to me. There's no like switchboard or anything like that. I think a few people, when they ring a radio studio, they'll get through to a producer who will sort of grill them on what they want to talk about. And I kind of hope by saying, look, we've broken that wall down. Your call comes straight through to me.
Yeah.
And then it's just me and you having a chat.
On your part.
It's great fun.
Someone's never been an idiot and done something silly.
I'm waiting for it. I think it's going to be any day now. Yeah. It's going to be any day now.
Did you know the thing is, it's not going to be a Cultaholic fan. It's going to be someone that's just stumbled upon it and thought, do you know what?
Very likely.
I know we've been here a long time, so I'm going to speed through some questions because I know you're exceptionally busy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna come back to the Cultaholic stuff, but I'm gonna go back into some stuff people might not know you as well for. So I'm not as knowledgeable about this because I couldn't find much stuff on it than other things. But if I remember correctly, you did you were a manager for someone, weren't you?
Yes. Good
and
I still technically am. I still technically am. So we're not done. Yeah. It's just the world caught fire, so we haven't had a chance to hang out together. Yes, I am the representation of Mickey the Dragon at Main Event Wrestling in Long Benton in the Northeast. Show in October coming back. We'll see you then.
I mean, you might actually. That's the thing, you might.
Hey, there you go. It's around your neck of the woods.
Because I'll mention this in a minute because it's another question.
It's another opportunity for me just to do more stuff in wrestling. I have no designs on being a wrestler. I have zero ambition to be a wrestler. Not a sausage of an ambition to be a wrestler. I have wrestled. Yes, I know you're going to
wrestled a match. I remember that.
Wrestled a match. It was mate, I was a mess. I was in bad shape. I regret going into that in the shape and I did nothing, but I was winded. I did nothing in that match. I was knackered. And I'll forever have respect for wrestlers who get in there and do it so effortlessly.
Yeah.
There's the whole thing of everyone thinks they can do it. That's brilliant. That's a testament to them. They make it look so easy. And to break down the kayfabe wall, lots of love to HT Drake, who was our opponent that night, me and Mickey, who who's just consummate professional. Weeks before, trained me on some of the things and how to fall and how to handle some bits in the ring, and just in the match, very much walked me through it as we went. He was great. But as a thank you, I punched him in the balls. As we were we were going through the finish, the spot before the doors open. We were going through the finish, and I have to take a code breaker. But in the training bit, I brought my hand down a bit too quick. So the first time I practiced the move, I ended up punching him in the balls.
That's nice.
So that was good. He went into a match injured thanks to me. But he's a consummate pro. It was good fun. I have no intentions on being a full-time wrestler though. That is a passion for someone else. I'm happy to be a dickhead that helps get a proper wrestler over in a managerial capacity, or as a commentator, or as a ring announcer. Those bits I'm fine.
If an opportunity came for, say, something in NXT UK or something like that, where they wanted you to do commentary or something like that, and obviously we've seen it with Alex McCarthy in last week's NXT sort of press conference, I genuinely think you'd be really good in that.
I'd love a try. I'd love a go. I would like the opportunity to do it. I am very proud of the work I do in commentary positions. Always room for improvement, always trying to get better, but I love it. I wouldn't, if they made the call, I'd make it happen. But
yeah. So I've got some more sort of sillier questions now, but on the wrestling topic. So if you had to team with someone at Cultaholic against another tag team, who would you pick?
I'm teaming with Matthew every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Throwing him in.
If I'm correct, Matthew's had training, hasn't he?
Not that I'm aware of.
I distinctly, someone, I can't remember who it was. I know Adam's taken quite a few super kicks. But
Jack took a spear from Primate.
Yeah.
That was a thing that happened.
I mean, I'd rather take 2 super kicks from the Young Bucks than a spear from Primate, to be honest. But I think what they did for what they did and then NXT UK ruined, was we had such a good indie scene. I am so excited for when things open back up. For example, yesterday, I booked my first ever WWE show in a couple of months, which I've been wanting to do for 2 years. And it's sort of a 2-in-1 because I get to see my grandparents for the first time in 2 years because I've got to go to Newcastle, but also I get to go to the show on a Sunday. So that should be good.
That's amazing. I saw a Newcastle pop up on the tour dates. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I'm glad they haven't forgotten about the Northeast.
Have you ever been to a show, or is that never really?
Yeah, I've been to a couple of shows, WWE shows up here. The incident with Matthew happened at an NXT show, where I bought him a pint. He said we'll meet for a pint. I bought him a pint. He then didn't reply to my messages. I drank his pint, had another few pints, got a bit drunk, wrote something Larry on Facebook about him not turning up. He messaged me privately about, hey pal, what's the problem? And then I just felt very silly.
So, yeah. I mean, hopefully with work, hopefully the next few years when things open up, you might be able to go to a Mania.
That'd be fun. I mean, to be honest with you, the thing is with us, I think it's a really exciting thing to say, yeah, let's all go to WrestleMania, but then there's no one to cover. That's it. So much we're able to do, as great as it is to say that we go, we do, the work is so much better and so much easier and so much slicker to do from here than it is there.
It's not like you could take time off work to go, because your job is to cover that.
We'd be there to cover it, and it would as great as it would be, like logistically, it would create a lot of problems. And I genuinely think that a big role in what we do, because this is what I think people forget, that this is a job where we make things for other people, make things for people to watch, and we serve our core audience better doing stuff like that than us having a jolly at Mania.
Yeah.
We serve our audience much better being here.
I mean, the plan as it stands, hopefully, is for Hollywood Mania for me to possibly go. That has already been talked about briefly in sort of a jokey sort of, but also
headlining against Roman Reigns.
Yeah, forget the Rock.
Get in. Well done, lad.
Do you know? Because instead of I'll join the Usos and just tag with Rock. And
nice one.
And all that. Hopefully that happens, or maybe the one before, or whatever. So I think it's everyone's dream to go to a Mania or a SummerSlam or Fight. Was it Fight Fest meant to be in the UK?
There's been a few rumours for the UK. There's been a couple of them rumored.
I mean, I'd love to see. I don't think they'd do a SummerSlam or Mania in the UK because honestly, I think they could sell it out, but I don't think it would be as convincing as America.
I think we'll see an NXT UK takeover Wembley next year. That's my hot take. We'll get an NXT UK takeover Wembley.
I think they'll bring over a few as well.
I don't think they'll need to. I think they won't do Wembley Stadium. They'll do Wembley Arena, but they'll do it in time for the 30th anniversary of SummerSlam 92.
Yeah.
And I predict that if he doesn't lose it at TakeOver 36 in August, I believe that Volta will lose the NXT UK Championship to Davey Boy Smith Jr. at TakeOver Wembley next year. That's my hottest of hot takes on NXT UK.
You've done what I'm doing there. You've booked it. I might have to steal that.
Steal it. Instead of be stolen.
I'm definitely going to write that down. I've already started to book CM Punk's debut in AEW.
Lovely stuff. I look forward to watching it.
So I've got some other questions that I wanted to ask. So with the interviews here, and I'm going to wrap up in about a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to ask you some questions off camera because I just want to pick your brain about a few things.
Sure.
So with the interviews, I don't know if you can't say this, just tell me and I can edit it. With the interviews, do you go to, I don't know who does it, I'm guessing it's Adam, and go, I would like to do this person? Does he send you a list and say, here's a list of people, which ones do you want to?
No, this is one of the many reasons why I love working for Adam. Having Adam as my boss is that Adam puts trust in me just to crack on. Like he doesn't give me a list of, he doesn't spot check everything I do. He doesn't send me a list of what must be done every day, but he knows that I'm going to get the work done. He doesn't have, like, if there might be the odd occasion where he might say, I've just spoke to this person, they'd be good for a Desert Island Grabs. But he certainly doesn't sort of editorial what it needs to be, who it needs to be. That's completely up to me.
Straight to hell as well with Ross. So it's sort of, it's not, if someone say, like, I don't know who I could say, if Matt Cardona messaged someone and said, yeah, I'd love to do an interview for you, you're a credible source, it'd be good for possibly, I've got a theory about, because obviously as of recording this, Matt Cardona has won the GCW title, which I thought was a great match. Yes. Not my type of match, but I thought, I mean, the reaction was, I think, too far, but that's wrestling fans for you.
I thought it was great. I thought it was, I think they planned